first accounting test is in the books. You may feel like you have aced it or bombed it. So where do you go from here? I will have your graded exam ready for you at the start of your next class. That's my commitment to you. Even before you have the graded exam in your hand, you should start assessing your performance. Many of you probably feel like you did well. Keep doing whatever you're doing if you feel like you have done well and your grade confirms it. The first few chapters of your accounting class are usually pivotal, so if you feel like you didn't do so good, go back and reevaluate how you studied. If you are missing a foundational concept, for example, the rules of debits and credits, then go back and learn whatever concept you feel weak on. Remember that foundational building blocks of a pyramid must be mastered, otherwise the rest of the structure will come crashing down. If you didn't do well, I can almost guarantee that your preparation is an issue. Let's work really hard at being prepared for the next class. How do you do this? Learn from your first test. What worked and what didn't? What things did you do that resulted in you doing well on an exam or a portion of the exam? And what things do you wish you would have done differently? Write them down. Assess yourself. This can be critically important in how well you do going forward. Has anyone ever taught you how to study? If not, go back and review the video called Creating Mindful Study Habits. This is located at the top of your course materials page. Then, fix whatever is broken. My guess is that about 90% of you can do better if you put the time into preparing well. How do I prepare for class? This is a common question I receive from new college students. Start by reading the next chapter before you ever step foot into the classroom. For Accounting 102 students, Chapter 13 is a critically important chapter and could be the launching point for your own personal investing lives. Spend some time perusing the chapter prior to class. See how much your comprehension of the lecture material increases. In university environments, sometimes you will be quizzed on the contents of a chapter before you ever show up for the class. So let's start learning preparation techniques now. You can either read it in your hard print book or you can read the ebook and connect. Whichever modality you prefer, spend some time reading the material. How do you read to be prepared for class? Scan the chapter. This should take about 10 minutes. Some pictures and things that interest you. In other words, just preview what's coming. I would allow 10 minutes for this. Then read the chapter in depth in a quiet area free of distractions. Use a highlighter to highlight things of importance. Jot down notes in the margins of the questions you have and get those answered during class or through the tutors or through office hours. I would allow an hour for this. Consider outlining the chapter. This reinforces what you learned. I suggest leaving lots of space between lines so that you can go back and fill in your outline when things are stressed in class. I would allow half an hour for this. So now you have spent approximately an hour and a half learning the material. So what do you think will happen with this extra practice? I can almost guarantee that lectures will be much more meaningful. Instead of seeing the content for the first time, you will be seeing it for the second or third time. You will be amazed how much better you grasp the material. This will allow you to start practicing earlier. And if you have listened to me even a little bit, you know that you must practice to become better at the material. Accounting really is like a sport. You just don't show up on game day, i.e. test day, and expect to be good. You show up at regularly scheduled practices and you practice, make mistakes, and get better. If an athlete only showed up to play in the game, they would never master the game. The same holds true in accounting. Your classwork will reinforce what you already learned. You will be amazed at how much better you will become during homework time. Test me. Before I leave this topic, let me refer to the late and great John Wooden, legendary coach, teacher, and businessman. He said, "If you don't have the time to do it right, when will you have the time to do it over?" His words of wisdom, both on and off the court, have created world-class athletes and students. Stop the video and ponder those words. This concept can be applied to so many facets of our lives. Let's practice perfect practice. Master the basics, put the time in up front, instead of having to always play catch up and put yourself in a crisis situation. If you prepare for class ahead of time, then you can build study time in on a regular basis. Set aside time during the week to practice. Make dates with yourself. Put them on the calendar and keep the appointments just as you would any other appointment. Utilize the Learn Smart as you go. I cannot recommend that portion of Connect highly enough. Use it. You know cramming doesn't work. I cannot tell you how many students wait until they dig themselves in a hole too deep to crawl out of. Let's get this concept down right now. You cannot ignore your studies for 2 to 3 weeks, do the bare minimum, and expect to excel on the exams. If you have a problem procrastinating, let's address it now while we still have a good deal of the semester left. In wrapping this up, again, test me. Try preparing ahead of time before class, and let's see how much better you can do on the next exam. Professor Johnson signing out.